I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Eric Gagnon, and we sell restaurants. We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm, We Sell Restaurants, over a decade ago. You can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com.
We are on your radio once a week, talking with leading authorities in the industry on those subjects trending in the business. Tweet your own questions on the topic while we are on the air to our Twitter handle, Sell Restaurants, or post them on our Facebook page. That's Facebook.com/We Sell Restaurants. If we don't get to your questions, we will definitely follow up with you on our social media channels.
Our goal is to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. If you have any ideas or any comments about the show, you can email me. My email is eric@WeSellRestaurants.com.
Today, we'll be discussing restaurant training with Kim Zimmerman, Florence of Kim Zim Hospitality, Joe Kelly of TalentServed, and Misty Young of Squeeze In Truckee. Industry sources cite the top challenges of restaurant training as time constraints in a fast-paced restaurant environment, the high rate of turnover, prioritizing all the information, inexperienced employees, and varying learning styles. I am sure that our guests are going to be able to agree or share with us how that challenges face each of you.
So how do restaurants train their staff to deliver greatness? How did the best restaurant companies get everyone on the same page when it comes to service? Has training become more affordable for the restaurants over the years? The answer to these questions and more we've put together in a great panel for you today.
First, we have Joe Kelly of TalentServed. His firm is made up of hospitality industry veterans with broad experience in operations and corporate human resources with many of the industry's top companies. He helps restaurateurs and understands the real-world challenges that hospitality professionals face in their day-to-day work life. He also grasps what companies are looking for in their future leaders. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Robin. Eric, appreciate having me here.
Great. Next, we also have Misty Young. Misty is chairman of Squeeze In Franchising. Her firm helps others become owners of a high-quality, well-known, systematically designed and developed restaurant opportunity. Wow, that is a mouthful. She is co-owner of Squeeze In, a 4-location restaurant collection base in Reno and Tahoe, with a 5th location coming real soon to Northern California. She's a certified member of the John Maxwell team, and as a coach, speaker, and trainer, she serves independent restaurant owners and other small business owners to help achieve business and personal success. The author of From Rags to Restaurants, The Secret Recipe to Restaurant Success, describes herself as a high-energy restaurant owner, expert with confidence, diligence, and tenacity. Misty grew up in a family restaurant where she was introduced to the business. Misty, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Eric and Robin. It's great to be here with your esteemed panel. Excited to add some value today and give some great information about restaurant training. Here we go.
All right. And our third guest is Kim Zimmerman, Florence, of Kim Zim Hospitality, LLC. Kim has more than 20 years' experience in delivering award-winning training, operations, leadership development, human resources, and branding successes for some of the biggest names in the restaurant and hospitality industry. During her 5 years with Intercontinental Hotel Groups as the brand service culture champion, love that title, Kim helped Hotel Indigo grow from 7 to more than 34 domestic and international properties. Prior to that, she served as director of training for Ted's Montana Grill, a national restaurant chain founded by Ted Turner. She also worked with DiscoverLink to develop e-learning training programs specializing in skill training and compliance training for the hospitality industry. She is one of only 43 individuals to be certified as a continuous improvement leader and the only individual to be certified as an instructor by Atlanta-based Leadership Institute. She has spoken at numerous professional conferences, including the National Restaurant Association. She most recently spoke at the 2011 National Conference for the Council of Hotel and Restaurant Trainers, or CHART. We are thrilled to have her on our show. Kim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Robin and Eric. I am so excited to be here and have a lot to share.
Good. Well, we are so excited to have such a great panel this morning. So let's start with some question and answers. Some of the challenges they face by restaurant owners include, time constraint and fast-paced restaurant environment, high rate of turnover, how to prioritize information, inexperienced employees, different learning styles, and so on and so on. What do you guys think is the number one challenge in the restaurant business? Mitzi, let's start by you answering that question.
Well, in terms of training, it's certainly in getting everyone on the same page. And there are so many different learning styles that we can find among people. Some people are auditory learners. Some people are visual. Some people sort of need to, to do something, live it vicariously to make it part of their everyday behavior. But the real key is for us as trainers or for restaurant owners to realize the importance of getting people on the same page and keeping them engaged and keeping the training that they create refreshed. It's sort of like the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. If you think about it, it's this beautiful long structure. At the beginning of the year, they start painting, riveting, sanding, repairing, and they go all the way across the bridge, and at the end of the year, they pack up their gear and they come back to the beginning of the bridge and they start over again. So reinforcing, just like the Golden Gate Bridge, it's a non-stop process of training continuously and keeping people engaged and accountable for their results in guest service.
Okay, awesome. Kim, why don't you weigh in on that same topic? What is the number one challenge you think that restaurateurs face in developing training?
Well, what I am finding with my clients is that there's such a traditional way of training that people can't break out of, and you don't want to use your grandma's training material because one size does not fit all. Just giving somebody a manual and then taking a quiz at the end does not work anymore. And so my new motto is you have to create different learning environments, and you'd have to use the language that people dream in. And that works for all generations. The second obstacle that I am finding are that people don't want to be processed. Guests work very, very hard for their money, and when they come out for an experience, that's exactly what they're looking for, is an experience. They don't want to be processed. Can I get you something to drink, and are you ready to order? Next, please. Can I get you something to drink, and are you ready to order? So I have been working with creating programs that connect with the guest on an emotional level that's on their terms. So looking for clues or something that you can hone in on to specialize their experience and not say, hello, my name is Kim and I will be your server today and our special is. That doesn't work anymore.
So, Joe, you're on the other side of the fence because you're actually delivering this sort of talent to restaurateurs. So when somebody comes across your radar screen that's got a great training background, weigh in. What do you see as some of the challenges?
Some of the challenges, I guess, keeping, having low turnover and keeping the good people. You want to find people with a low turnover, good track record, the brands that they have been with, and then everything leads to, providing that experience, at the guest level.
So pulling it all together as one full package, that's a piece of the puzzle. If you're going to be hired in this industry today, it's no more, I love that term that Kim used, it's grandma's way business is out.
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
So, Misty, following up on that, do you think that this investment in training will lead to lower turnover and happier employees?
It absolutely does, without a question. And what we did to discover that and to be able to actually confirm it and prove it is we developed in our company, and what we now share with other companies is a blended approach to training. Kim is absolutely right. Grandma's method doesn't work. So the new modern methods that do work are, reaching out to people on video, on audios, through podcasts, through live in-person training, through checklists, through manuals, through accountability, and through things like a private Facebook group where you can post new topics and keep people engaged on those topics. And again, going back week after week and just, here's the next topic for this week, which happens to be the one that we rolled through just a few weeks ago. So it's this continuous process of refreshing. Once you build a training program, it doesn't mean it's done. The restaurateur who says, oh, I have a training program, it's done. If that's the approach, then you're done. You've got to keep refreshing it and keeping people engaged on a regular basis. I totally agree with that. And part of that is you can't mandate personality, but you can mandate behavior. But you have to know what the behavior is that you want. It's absolutely true that it's all about the guest and about the guest experience and making sure, as Kim said, and Kim, I so appreciate that you said wanting to connect with guests on an emotional level. They're there to take a mental, physical vacation in a restaurant for an hour, 2 hours, whatever that period is. And it's our server and our host and our manager's job to help them have a vacation while they're there and not make it look like a process. That was such a great way to say it.
Thank you.
Kim, let me talk to you about this a little bit. I can hear it right now. We have some great operators listening to the show right now, and they're like, they're probably in grandma's age, and they're like, you know what, this is a great show, but I'm not spending $150,000 on training and everything like that. So how does you think operators should spend on training? How do you create a budget, and what do you think they should spend?
I think that there are different ways to connect with your team versus spending the money on producing training manuals. And along with creating an emotional connection with the guest, I feel that managers need to do the same thing for their teams. What I find is a lot of people focus on having contests and everything's driven towards the front of the house employee, and nobody's working with the heart of the house team. So I've been creating cross-functional teams. So there's a dishwasher on one, a bartender on one, a host on one, and a server on one, so that they can interact with each other. They become a little bit more engaged with what each other's job is, and they appreciate that. So that's one thing. Another plug that I just want to give is that I'm working with a company right now, brand new, cutting edge, in Atlanta, and we are in test with it. I actually have my guest, Kelly Preston, with me from smartfolks.com, and they are working on a program where you reinforce the message on a daily basis. And so every time an employee clocks in, no matter what position, you could be a dishwasher or you could be a bartender, that questions will pop up and say, what is the special of the day? We have a party of 30 tonight. We're sold out. Or a culture question, or what is one of our core values? And that is a very inexpensive way to reinforce the message, because what we're finding in today's world, you don't have that full-time employee that works 40 hours a week in the restaurant industry. They work multiple jobs and a lot of part-time. And so to get your message as a manager to everybody, because you have a day off as well, sometimes it doesn't filter down, so it's getting missed through the cracks. And we're on the cutting edge of something that I think is going to be very affordable for operators. It's not going to cost a lot of money. Every team member can participate, and you can change the questions every time they work a shift.
I think that's really interesting. And Misty, I want you to give us some feedback on that too, because what I see tying into that is that millennials are used to very short bursts of information. They have much more limited attention spans. And we all know that that is the demographic that the world is talking about. Misty, would you agree that giving them these bites of information, the same way they absorb the internet and their texting and their phone, is an effective way to communicate messaging?
Absolutely. If you go back in time in media, when USA Today came out, it was kind of the, big, scary new national newspaper, and it really looked a lot different from everything else that was on the market, even including the stands that looked like televisions. If you remember, they had sort of the rounded edge, and it had sort of a TV look, and USA Today is sort of bite-sized, chunk-sized information to get you in touch with the whole country. And so they were sort of cutting edge some 30 years ago when they came out, and it's the same same thing now as media evolves and as the young people particularly demonstrate their use and their ability to multitask and multi-track and parallel track through media. It has to be concise, short, sweet, easy to digest information. Having people respond to a question when they clock in, we do the same kind of thing. When they clock in, up pops a little ticket that gives them some information that's happening that day or a question that they can respond to. And again, the other opportunity is through a Facebook page, a private Facebook page or a private Twitter handle that we use. We don't use a private Twitter handle, but I know operators that do. The Facebook page is the way that we keep people in this secret group. It's an opportunity for us to train, educate, and occasionally rant. Let's be real. Sometimes people want to rant too, but there's the opportunity for training, engagement, and refreshment as well in a private Facebook group.
Very good information. Joe, I know you work on fulfilling talent, and the demand change from time to time in various positions and everything, but what are some of the basic things that are core, like things in candidates that never change, that you always look for, or the operators that you work with says, we always want these kind of traits?
I'm looking for candidates, with solid work history, stable work history, people that are moving up in their career progression. Typically, I like to find passive candidates that aren't looking for work, candidates that are currently working, happy with their career, but I might have an opportunity that could take them to that next level. So not necessarily the active candidate who's applying to every job on Craigslist. He's talking to 5 recruiters. I'm out there in the market. I'm networking. I go to different events like the Taste of Atlanta or Share Our Strength event down at the aquarium, and sponsor the chef's after party to kind of meet people that are in the industry, at all levels of positions, whether it be chef, sous chef, general manager, multi-units, or trainers, corporate trainers, and try to build relationships via LinkedIn, Facebook, and find when those candidates are hot on the market, or if they become, or if an opportunity that looks like it might be that step in the right direction, that they might be able to make a move.
So stability and moving up are kind of key things that people are really appreciating in the industry right now.
Yeah, definitely. Stability in the industry. Stability is a big issue, and our general rule of thumb is two jobs in a 5-year period is a good track record. Any more than that, then there might be some red flags. We like to do some reference checks, and stability is definitely something we look at.
So everybody has talked about, and I just find this so interesting, private Facebook pages and giving people information as they sign on to a POS system and doing e-learning. Is there a rule of thumb? And I guess this is really for Kim and Misty to answer. And, Misty, maybe you want to take this first, but is there a rule of thumb about what percentage of your overall training program, how much should be visual, how much should be audio, how much should be delivered through social media, or is there a best practice that you could really point to?
Here's what I use as a rule of thumb. If it works, use it.
Love that.
Right? If it works, use it. And so what we do is, we try to say yes to the best. We say no to the good and yes to the best. And that means that, we look to see what's actually working. For instance, we recently, a few years ago, we developed a video training program. And we saw that it was working, but it could use some tweaking. So we came back out with a new video training program, and it had a series of videos. It was 7 videos, and it had a test that went with it. And it was good, but it could be better. So we scrapped those 7, and we came out with 9. And the new videos had keys, little golden keys that came up on the screen at the same time as the presenter was speaking. And in those keys, it tracked right along with the test. So it was not multiple choice. It was fill in the blank. There was a mnemonic to the viewer. Hey, here's a golden key. This means I need to pay special attention to this. Write this word in. And what we saw was our test percentages improved and our guest experience improved. So one of the indicators that we use to whether or not our tracking is working is through our loyalty system, through our loyalty program, we have a daily survey that happens. Guests who spend a certain threshold, they get a survey. By the time they get home, that survey is in their box. So literally, out of our 4 restaurants, every single day, we're literally having, I'm calling them secret shoppers, but we all know they're shopping us. And they come back and they give us results on how is the food, how is the experience, what are some open-ended things that, you would tell us about, will you refer us to other people? We use that information and the percentages we were able to track specifically, is this new video training working? And again, if it's working, yes, it's working, that's what you want to do.
Kim, any follow-up to that?
Yes. A couple of things. I wanted to follow up to what Joe was saying about retention with employees, number one. I feel that you can retain employees by having an emotional connection with them, and you need to build employee loyalty. And what happens is once they feel that they're bigger than just pouring drinks or just waiting tables or just washing dishes, they feel like they're part of a company, or they feel like they're part of a culture, that they know what's going on in the business or with their brand. That helps build employee loyalty. And if you do little things, instead of giving one size does not fit all. And so Robin might like gardening. So if you wanted to reward Robin for picking up a shift, I would maybe buy her a plant or a gift card to Pikes or something like that. Or if somebody is a movie buff, get them a couple of movie passes, something that's unique, but not have the same reward system for everyone. And I think that helps to what Joe is saying, is building that employee loyalty, that they want to stay and they're proud of where they work. And it again, one size does not fit all. The same thing for the guest. One size does not fit all. So I worked for a company that had 60 years experience from their first location, and they had a rule book that was filled the bookshelf in the office, was not dusted off, of course. I'm tired of decorating managers' bookshelves too, by the way. And so if you just made a mistake and you overcooked a steak, you don't look in the rule book and go, okay, well, A, I can give them a free drink, or B, a free dessert. That not one size does not fit all for the guest as well. What somebody wants when they have an overcooked steak might be completely different than the table next to them. And I think you have to work outside the box. I had the opportunity to work with 2 improv actors with my food and beverage training, which was pretty cool. And they would teach you have about 10 seconds to size up that table and know what you're going to spiel them. One table might be celebrating a birthday. One might be 2 retired men having happy hour at 4. And so
I think we're going to leave it right there, because this is fascinating. And I want to come back to some of this way in which you are giving really some autonomy and authority. And that's something that you are looking for as you're recruiting or as you're training, to give folks the ability to make decisions on their own.
Correct.
We are on the air today with Misty Young, Kim Zimmerman from Kim Zim, and Joe Kelly at TalentServed. So hang on. This is Eric and Robin Gagnon. We're the Restaurant Brokers, and we'll return right after this short break.